All right, today we're going to start our series on how we do chores out here at the farm. The first animal that we're going to show today is how we take care of our sheep. So when we take care of any animal, we want to make sure that they have food, they want to have water, and we need to check for health. So the first thing when it comes to food is they need to have the correct quantity and they need to have the correct food type. So if you look here, we've got a whole row of different animal feeds. This one is sheep food. And so what I would do is I would identify the container of sheep food. I would come over to our spreadsheets and I would find the sheep spreadsheet. All right, so here's a sheep spreadsheet and I would find the date. Now, today is May 18th. There is no May 18 here. So what I would do is find the closest date to the 18th without going over. So the 22nd is too far away, that's too far in the future, but the 15th is the most recent date. So I'm gonna feed what we had on the 15th. I'm gonna feed the yellow number and only the yellow number. I'm not gonna multiply it. Whatever the number says in yellow, that's what I'm gonna feed. Now in a later video, I'll show you how to run the scale. This takes into account the weight of the bucket, so that's why it's a little bit higher than what we're feeding the sheep. But let's go feed the sheep real quick. The first thing we want to do when we feed our sheep is we want to make sure the bunk is clean. So we take out any leftover grain, any hay that fell in there, and that's going to do a couple things for us. Number one, we want to make sure that the sheep have clean feed at all times. Number two, we want to know if they're eating all of their feeds. So today, when I cleaned out the bunk before we shot this video, you can see on the ground there's a whole bunch of feed. This is telling me, one, either the sheep did not eat all of their food from last night, or two, whoever did chores might have overfed. I don't know which one happened, but those are my two guesses. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dump food. I'm gonna dump it all along here. We wanna make sure every sheep has access to food. Think of it like Thanksgiving dinner. Maybe you have 10 people sitting around a table. If you just have one plate of food, everybody's gonna fight for it, and there's a lot of people that won't get to eat. But if you have 10 plates, one plate for each person, everybody's gonna get to eat something. And so that's what we're trying to accomplish here for the sheep. And so naturally they'll spread themselves out. The other thing that we want to do is make sure they have hay. I'm going to add a little bit of hay to this. It rained last night, so I'm going to make sure that if this is wet and damp, which is actually not too bad, if it was wet and damp, I would get rid of it. We want them to have nice dry stuff because we don't have enough grass for them to eat. So I'm going to add a hay to it later. I'm going to check for health. I want to make sure that all sheep are up here eating. We've got 8 sheep in the pasture. We have 8 sheep eating. Everybody's alert. I want to make sure that no one has the runs, no one has loose stools. And so before the video shot, I walked around and looked at their health. They don't have any runny stools. I want to make sure they don't have any runny noses or coughs. So health-wise, all of our sheep are doing fine. They're fed. The other thing is water. I look at this water container and I see that I need to add water. I want the water level to be roughly right here. So when I get done putting this bucket away, I'm gonna grab some hay, I'm gonna string the hose out, and we're gonna fill up the water container. So when we feed the animals, it's food, water, health.